morning, about 2 a.m., June the 6th, 1944, as was usual, the orderly came in our Nissan hut where we were sleeping and said, "Get up, time for the mission." So we all got up, got our uniforms on, went out, went to breakfast, ended up in the briefing room where all the crews that were flying that day were gathered to find out, as usual, what the mission was that we were going to fly. The commanding officer of our group, the full colonel, he opened up the door and his staff came down the center aisleway toward the stage in the front. And as he walked down, we all stood at attention. And we called this man the old man because he was 25 years old. We had a lot of young people that were serving our country during that time. Awesome responsibilities. Well, as he got up on the stage, excuse me for my hoarseness, as he got up on the stage and they pulled back the large drape over the map of Europe, we saw there right in front of me, Operation Overlord. First, we knew that we were going to be involved in it. And I was going to be involved in the largest invasion in mankind's history. But there it was, stretched out, our string going toward Caen, France, which was our mission target for the day. Our mission target was to go to Caen, to try to bomb out the areas because there was 9 German Panzer units that was sitting back of that base, that city, and we were to impede their progress because they were just waiting to see where the troops were going to land, where the invasion was going to happen. Well, we got over the target, and incidentally, and very significant for me, as we flew over the channel, I looked up to my left, and I saw these 5,000 ships. Some people said it was 7,000, I've heard as many as 9,000, but who knew? There were so many it looked like you could cross the channel and never get your feet wet. But there they were. Here I am, a young kid. I'm looking out at history, and I see these ships all going toward the coastline of France. An awesome sight. Well, I had to be a little bit careful about looking because I was flying tight formation, so I was back and forth looking. But I saw it, a grandstand seat for this huge invasion. As we got over Caen, as you may remember from history, the whole operation had been delayed one day because of terrible weather. So they delayed it one day, and we still had bad weather. So when we got over Caen, I had a solid undercast, so we could not bomb because we couldn't see where our target was. So we circled the target, circled and circled, waiting for hopefully a break, like we're hoping for breaks today. Never happened. So the commanding officer said, "Okay, boys, we got to go back to base and refuel and come back." So we started back over the English Channel, and my flight engineer was tapping me on the shoulder and saying, "We're running very, very low on fuel." So I prepared the crew for a bailout. As we got over the channel and I knew we was about to run out of fuel, I rang the bell and they jumped over the English Channel, over water. And at that time, all 4 engines, these are 4 1,000 horsepower Pratt & Whitney engines, horribly noisy. All of a sudden, they all quit, and it comes deadly silence. And I had to push the plane nose down for a steep dive to keep it aflight. As we started down faster and faster, faster and faster, I looked back over my shoulder to see if the boys had gotten out, and there they are, my bombs are still on board. I forgot all about them. Well, I pulled that salvo lever down by the base of the control pad. It pulled the pins on the bomb bay doors, They pulled the pins on all the bombs, and they all dropped out, and just dropped out just so low over the English Channel that they didn't arm, so they just fell into the water and didn't explode, fortunately. As I flared out, getting ready to land on the water, knowing that with no way I could get out of that B-24 because it would sink immediately, right in front of me, right there in front of me was this huge rock bar. Had nothing to do with it, just like God had it set it there for me for a landing place. Well, didn't think about it at the time. All I thought about was pulling that flight out from this airplane out from this steep dive and leveling out, and just as I leveled out, I hit the rock. And we started flying across the rock fast, very fast. And remember, the bomb bay doors on this huge B-24 were open, so it was like a giant scoop shovel picking up all that rock. And the rear of that B-24 broke off, and as I kept sliding down that rock, I saw all 4 engines pop out. The whole fuselage ground off up to the cockpit floor, and the greenhouse, or the area in front that was called the nose, where the navigator and bombardiers at, all was ground off. And we finally came to a halt. Nothing left except the cockpit and the wing. The other pilot and the navigator, who said, "I'm not going to jump," he rode down with us, so we kicked the windshield out, and we crawled out on the wing and sat there, sun shining. Sat there and looked at ourselves, and I thought I was sitting there, why did I survive this? Well, I found out later that most of my crew who had jumped over the channel did not know how to get out of parachutes over the water. A lot of them drowned. They should have survived. I should not have. So it's a defining moment in time. So we think a lot about survival, but of tens and tens of thousands of young people who gave up their life, the prime of their life, to protect us and give us this freedom that we have today, that we can sit here and honor each other and our veterans. So we must think about the perilous times that, in my way of thinking, I was raised in perilous times during the Depression years. The group of young people that went to World War II were all been hardened by the Depression years. My hope is that the young people coming up now, but we are in perilous times, will be able to rise up and have the courage, the fortitude, and the training, and the desire to continue to protect our wonderful nation. May God bless us. Freedom is not free. Thank you.